You've been waiting. Quietly. Silently. With a heart that doesn't make noise, but never stops speaking. And the angels have heard. There is a sacred reason why he's still in your thoughts, even after the silence. A divine thread still holds his name inside your chest. You've tried to pull away, to forget. But heaven keeps pulling you back. Because this was not just a meeting. It was an assignment. The angels whisper, you were brought into his life to awaken what no one else could touch. Long before his eyes met yours, your soul had already touched his in the unseen. There are no coincidences between souls like yours. There's only purpose wrapped in mystery. You didn't come into his life to fix him. You came to mirror the light he forgot he had. He's felt that. Even when he turned away. Even when he said nothing. That's why the silence hurts. It carries the weight of what he cannot say. But the angels reveal, it was never your presence that scared him. It was the truth you awakened. The love you made impossible to run from. Your energy shook something deep. Something dormant. He's been waking up ever since. And now, the moment he's been resisting is near. The moment his soul will reach for you, before his mind gets the chance to interfere. Because when God writes a connection, no delay can erase the calling. For the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. Romans 11 verse 29, he wasn't prepared for what you stirred in him. The angels say, he's not cold. He's wounded. What you read as indifference is actually fear dressed in silence. Fear of not being enough. Fear of being seen too clearly. Fear of failing someone as radiant as you. You didn't just enter his life. You disrupted the fortress he built to keep his heart untouched. He spent many years behind thick walls, calling it independence, focus, and strength. But really, it was just survival. And then came you, with eyes that didn't expect perfection, just presence. With a voice that didn't demand, only reminded. You reminded him of what tenderness feels like. And that terrified him. He saw in you the possibility of a life where love wasn't just a transaction but a sanctuary. For someone who's only ever known love as currency, your softness was overwhelming. Too good. Too real. He's pushed you away not because he wants to lose you, but because he hasn't yet figured out how to hold on to you without losing control. But the angels are softening his armor. Piece by piece. And even if he doesn't yet know how to reach out, his soul is already leaning toward you. The part of him that still believes in love is starting to speak louder than the part that fears it. You weren't made to extinguish your light for someone else's awakening. The angels remind you, your light was never meant to be snuffed out for love. He may be on a sacred journey, yes. But so are you. And the truth is, your soul didn't come to this earth just to wait for someone else to rise. You came to rise first. You've held space. You've offered love. You've forgiven silence and absence more than once. But have you remembered to hold yourself? To pour back into your own well? Your worth isn't tied to how much someone misses you, calls you, or finally understands you. It's written in how you show up for yourself while they figure themselves out. The angels are gentle, but clear. Love that costs your peace is not love. It is a lesson. Yes, he is beginning to awaken. But that doesn't mean you must shrink until he catches up. Let your radiance grow. Let your heart be filled by your own essence. He was never the sun. You were. And when the time is right, if it is right, he will meet you not from a place of need, but of reverence. Until then, stay full. Stay bright. Stay sacred. There's a reason he couldn't look you in the eyes for too long. Your gaze didn't just see him. It unveiled him. The angels whisper, you became the mirror he didn't know he needed, and feared the most. You didn't try to change him. But your presence alone revealed everything he had been avoiding within himself. His tenderness. His fears. His longing for more. You didn't bring chaos. You brought clarity. And that, dear soul, is far more terrifying. When a woman like you enters a man's life, rooted, radiant, unapologetically whole, he cannot unsee what you reflect. You made him confront the gap between who he pretends to be and who he truly is. In your light, his shadows had nowhere left to hide. He wanted to be strong for you, but he realized he was still healing from stories he never told. And when he saw how deeply you perceived him, he panicked. Because he feared that once you saw all of him, you'd leave. But the truth is, you didn't flinch. You stayed. You saw his wounds, and you didn't run. Still, he ran. Not from you, but from the intimacy you offered. Because you were not just a mirror. You were a prophecy. And he wasn't sure he was ready to meet the man he saw reflected in your love. There's a shift happening within him, subtle but sacred. You may not see it. He may not speak of it. But the angels say, his soul is stirring. The numbness is cracking. The silence is thinning. Something long buried is breathing again. It began with the echo of your laughter in his solitude, the memory of your gentleness on a restless night, the unspoken presence of you in places he thought he'd forgotten. And now, even when he closes his eyes, he sees you. Not just your face, but your essence. The way you brought peace without asking. The way your spirit never begged, only invited. He remembers how safe you felt. How warm. How unlike anything he's known. This is not longing. It's awakening. The angels are guiding him back to the parts of himself that only love could reach. Back to the man who dreams in color. Who feels without shame. Who believes in something more. He's beginning to understand, you weren't a chapter. You were the shift. The bridge between his old self and the man he's becoming. And as the veil lifts, he's starting to remember what his soul had known all along, that this connection was never meant to end, but to transform everything. Why does he come close, then vanish? Why does he pull you in, only to disappear again? The angels say, his heart remembers, but his fear repeats. He's caught in a loop, between what he feels and what he fears. And each time he steps forward, the echoes of past wounds pull him back. It's not that he doesn't care. It's that he doesn't yet know how to stay where love lives. He was trained by pain. Conditioned to believe that love comes with loss, that closeness demands sacrifice. So when you offered something safe, something sacred, he doubted it could be real. He didn't mean to hurt you. But he's been hurting too. And so he cycles. Approaches, retreats, warms, then disappears. Because he thinks leaving first will protect him from the day you might leave. But deep inside, his soul is tired of running. The angels are weaving a new pattern. One where safety is not feared, but embraced. One where love is not a threat, but a return. And with every loop, he learns. With every silence, something breaks. And one day soon, he won't run. He'll stay. Not because you chased, but because the love that felt too big finally feels like home. Healed without knowing. Loved without asking. That's what your presence did to him. The angels say, you were the medicine his soul didn't know it was longing for. You didn't arrive with grand speeches or promises. You came with calm. With a kind of warmth that didn't demand to be noticed, but couldn't be ignored. And it started there. In the way you listened. In how you understood what he couldn't even put into words. In how your eyes remained gentle, even when he shut himself off. Love doesn't always come like thunder. Sometimes it manifests as a steady flame that refuses to be extinguished, even in the winds of doubt. You became that flame. He didn't know he was allowed to be this seen, this safe, this understood. And even now, while he may seem distant, the echo of your love still resonates within him like a sacred prayer he doesn't know how to respond to. Because something in him is changing. He's starting to recognize the tenderness he once dismissed as strength. Your love wasn't a weakness, it was a truth. It was healing. And healing takes time. But make no mistake, His soul is remembering who he becomes in your light. And he will come to understand that it was love all along that called him back to life. The angels have never left him. Or you. Even in the silence. Even in the waiting. You thought it was a delay, but it was a divine design. This isn't just a story about two people. It's a sacred map unfolding, drawn in heaven before either of you even knew how to spell the word love. The detours, the distance, the longing, all pieces of a greater choreography. The angels say, you are not late. You are right on time. His journey hasn't been easy. He's wandered. He's doubted. He's questioned why he feels drawn to you even after trying to forget. But that pull? It's not confusion. It's a calling. And every time he tries to escape it, grace redirects his steps. There's a plan at work here. One that doesn't follow logic, but faith. One that moves by divine timing, not urgency. You were chosen not just to love him, but to guide him back to himself. That's why the bond feels so holy, so unshakable, because it is. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. Psalm 37 verse 23, this is your confirmation. You haven't been forgotten. You've been guided. Before he can say he loves you, he must admit he needs you. And for a heart condition to survive, that is terrifying. The angels reveal, he doesn't fear you, he fears being seen too clearly. In your presence, his armor softens. But he has worn it for so long that he's forgotten who he is beneath it. You see that truth, and it makes him feel naked, unguarded, exposed. Vulnerability has always meant risk to him, the risk of being abandoned, misunderstood, or not enough. So even though his soul yearns to be close, his ego pulls away. You are the first person who made him want to try anyway. And that scares him more than he knows how to admit. He watches you, how you speak the truth gently, how you remain open even in uncertainty. You are, in many ways, his silent teacher, reflecting the love he never thought he could receive without conditions. He wants to come closer, to open up. But the leap from self-protection to surrender is steep. Still, the angels are whispering, healing old beliefs, softening the fear. Little by little, he's learning that love isn't a weakness, and needing someone isn't a failure. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9, there will come a moment, so still, so sacred, when he stops fighting. Not because he gave up, but because his soul finally understood, love isn't supposed to feel like war. The angels say, he's learning to let go of who he thought he had to be, to receive the love that was always safe in your hands. And you, dear soul, are learning too. Learning that love doesn't always come how you planned. That timelines bend in divine hands. That what is yours will not require chasing, only recognizing. This chapter asks you to do the hardest thing of all, to surrender. Not to pain, not to silence, but to grace. To trust that what you've planted in love was never wasted. That nothing pure is ever lost in the eyes of heaven. And when he returns, because his heart will remember, you won't need to prove your worth. He'll know. Because the woman who waited wasn't actually waiting at all. She was becoming. And the love that once felt impossible will feel inevitable. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. Isaiah 41 verse 10, you are never alone in this. The angels walked with you the entire way.